Welcome to Mia, the Passion Muse Show. I'm Mia Saenz Whitmore, your host, and with me right next to me is Victoria Wynn from The Lies I Tell Myself. Welcome, Victoria.
Thank you, Mia.
I'm always so excited to have Victoria on. We do this mastermind brainstorming as we do the show, and it's great.
Yeah, we always have fun with it.
Yeah. Victoria was featured on in January, the month of January, for The Lies, because with the resolutions, it's so important to break up each lie that people tell themselves. And then we did a Valentine's Day because there's a lot of lies around that. Victoria and I also just realized a week before this is to air about that we wanted to do a Pre Valentines show due to the fact that people are uncomfortable with Valentine's. Right, Victoria?
Typically, it's not the happiest day. When you hear that, Valentine's Day, I don't see too many people jumping up and down. And then, as we've seen on the 50 Shades of Lies group page, not a whole lot of people jumping up and down about Valentine's coming up. So I figured, what's going on? What's all the fear about? What's the loneliness? What are the lies?
And it's crazy because this was The Lies I Tell Myself about the Valentines Fear. Well, we decided to reverse that. And what would that be? The Lies I Tell Myself about Valentine's fearlessness. Because if we're fearless about it and face it with true strength, then it's just going to go smoothly.
Yeah.
So some of the things, and these shows will be interlinked in information because we did already do the Valentine's, but we're here to help you before, so that since it's a week away, so that you have that feeling of freedom to have tools to handle how to deal with the Valentine fear. So,
right.
Yeah. So one of the first ones that you said were on the page was communication, the lack of communication between couples.
Well, yeah, it seems that I'd say the biggest topic on the thread, all I said on the thread was, what do you love or hate about Valentine's Day? And it's like the thread just, there's so much that we've attached to Valentine's Day. And so, the big issue seems to be that men feel that women have these ridiculous expectations about Valentine's Day. And I'm not saying they don't.
Does that mean that they're
do.
supposed to? Does that mean that we expect men to ride up on a white horse? It has to be white, with 100 dozen roses, and what else?
And a diamond, please, a diamond.
Okay. and then being instantly transported to the ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's not going to happen? What are you talking about? Because you're such a jerk if you don't do that, and you're so insensitive, and I can't believe we're even together, and, it ends up to be this, a big bummer of a night, and it really doesn't have to. So I think a great solution is just getting really real, because it's okay to talk about this stuff. It doesn't mean they love you less just because you say, hey, what is Valentine's to you? Chances are, even with you and I, Mia, it might be something different to you than it is to me. So imagine from a man to a woman, just having the conversation. Because
let's talk about that because it's kind of when you said that, it shot into my head. Besides that, I was married on Valentine's Day to my first husband, my only at the moment, but I thought of those little cards we send with our kids for their classmates. And when I was little thinking, some kids didn't get them. I gave them to everybody. And I always had my kids give them to everybody because that's what is so loving about it. But I remember kids were specific about who they gave their Valentines to. And then kids would say, how many did you get? How many did you get? How many did, And it instantly, I think from a very young age, I just realized this, our paradigm was set because we're trapped into who likes us on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, absolutely.
It starts
comparing
in the first,
ourselves
second, third grade, exactly. Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point, parents.
And men out there watching this, step outside of the elementary school paradigm. We love you. Right. And
That's
girls,
a great
and girls
point.
too. Yeah, and girls too, because it's like, oh my gosh, I never, got enough Valentine cards, or I was never asked out on Valentine's Day. And so, we live by being taught fairy tales. Look at the Disney, huge mass of all the little princesses and this and that are going around, the stories that are, we share with our little girls. So, and the story and the fairy tales we tell our daughters, and I don't have girls, but, okay, I see a huge movement for empowerment for little girl books for becoming strong women. Children's books. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely, because it does. It starts so young, the wanting to make people happy and the wanting to be loved, and then, I can see that easily as an adult, if you're not getting those cards or you don't have that date, we just take it as a personal hit.
Right.
A real tough hit. Even though we do extraordinary things all year long, for whatever reason, that one day, we're just like, I suck.
Yeah. And think about when you're growing up, this also came into my head, how, children do phenomenal things and they don't get recognized enough for it. I mean, every day, not just are their bodies growing and their minds are growing and they're interacting with people and they're trying so hard to be good at home so that they can, accomplish the little stars or whatever they get. But they're not chosen for dodgeball, some of them, or they're not this, or they're not that. So then to put the label of Valentines on it, that just really, I think that then the whole elementary development gets shoved into, am I loved enough? And on this day, can I show it? So.
Yeah, and that's actually really depressing when you put it that way. Because, and I guess that's why a lot of people are depressed on that day. Because if you think of it like that, like it's the day that tells you if you're loved or not.
Yeah.
Then of course it's going to feel horrible if someone either doesn't do enough, in our heads what enough is, or they don't do anything. And then a big key, though, that we were just talking about earlier is reaching out. Because it's pretty victim-y to sit at home alone, say, woe is me, I hate Valentines. I know it's not fun to hear, and I probably have a few people wanting to smack me right now. But there's some really neat comments on that thread that talk about, like, Galentine's Day for the gals to go out and just have a great time together, so it's a day to look forward to.
Right.
And, guys, there's things that you can do to make that day not be so lonely where you're sitting and thinking about this stuff. Get out and connect, and even if it's boys and girls, who cares? Just a group of people, so you're feeling the love. Doesn't have to be the fairy tale romantic loving night. And
people don't realize where thoughts are placed in their history of life. They don't realize that, well, all this is connected to my youth, when truly it does begin there. And who would think that? Because most people don't take the time to break down their life step by step, or somebody help others break down their life step by step like this in order to resolve issues, in order to become strong and powerful and self-esteemed and confident and loved, and it's beautiful. Or, as we speak in next week's show, you can also do self-love by having a magnificent day for yourself. And that was one reason why we wanted to do this, is we wanted to also give tips and support to both men and women. You and I are not men, but guys, there are those sports bars, for goodness sakes, that you love. Take yourself there if you have no one to go with, or you can't grab enough people together, or you're a loner and you like sports. If you don't, then go to the damn Starbucks with the library or a bookstore attached. Do something for yourself. Women, buy yourself a flower. Take it home. Create an amazing dinner if you're not going out with your girlfriends or a guy friend or a special one. It's all up to you. And that's the beauty of creating our life.
Another one a week ahead of time, because now if, ladies, you want to book a day at the spa for this date with yourself, you can. You have time to book at a restaurant, or that was my pet peeve with our last show. I'm like, oh no. How do you, if you want to make a reservation, it's not going to be the day before Valentine's. So
exactly.
Now you can formulate something super fun and cool to do with yourself. It could be a play. It could be, there's so much going on.
Right.
But sitting at home sulking, I think, it makes matters worse.
Well, if you're on a budget and the sulking comes in, Victoria and I came up with some ideas for next week's show, but here's some to plant in your head. Take yourself for a lovely walk. No matter where you live in the country, even where it's a foot thick of ice and snow, you can still go out and try to look for something colorful in the white, for both men and women. Create that space for yourself. You can do anything. And if you are on a budget and have internet at least, there's Hulu. And there's other shows that are on demand that are downloaded for free. I'm not really sure because I'm not a big TV person myself. But I do know that I've heard of that. And, or rent a movie or watch your favorite one that you already have. And make yourself a beautiful coffee or a hot chocolate or something amazing just for you. Or, what's really yummy is my favorite, and it's like, a dime almost. Hot water, lemon, and honey. So it's amazing. That we can do amazing treats for ourselves. So.
And not only that, a big theme for me for Valentine's, like we've chatted about, is that if it's about love, then that extends way further than a romantic relationship or being single. If you've got kids, there's just really fun things you can do with your kids, and there's fun things you can do for your friends. I know that when the best thing that I can do for myself is to think about others and serve them. So, give you a call, send you a message. But especially with the kids. So we like to turn it into a family night because oftentimes I have my kids, as far as custody goes, on Valentine's Day. So my husband and I like to cook them up a really awesome meal that's, more than the norm, or get butcher paper, put it on the table, and just let them draw all over. Yeah. You can use sticky notes and write what you love about your kid and stick it on their mirrors and their walls. And
I love that.
We have a whole bunch of things that we like to do together. And
you can make cookies, you can make cupcakes, you can make hearts, the old-fashioned kind. Bend the paper in half, draw the half heart, and cut it out. You could make heart chains. You could, there's and if paper's an issue and money, because sometimes people don't have a store nearby or whatever, find newspaper. Who cares? Paint it, color on it. Melt wax on it after you've created what you have. Melt red crayons all over. Create. Take wax paper and shave great crayons inside on top of a piece of wax paper, like do a heart. Draw a heart, but you haven't cut it out yet. And then you put the crayons on there, and you put another wax paper on top, and you iron it, and it melts. And then you've got this, when you cut it out, you have a stained glass window. And hang it in your windows for the day. I mean, I'm going to do that. How lovely is that?
I did that from elementary school. That was so fun.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
There's so many amazing things. I remember in elementary school, I was, yesterday morning, I woke up, went to the bathroom, it was like 5 in the morning, and I thought, Mr. T, he was my 5th grade teacher, Mr. Jeremiah. He did the most amazing crafts for us. It was amazing. Take a bag, just a lunch bag. Put a few little treats in it, wrap it up. You don't even have to do a balloon piñata. You can just cover it in what is that? You're a mom. The starch made from water and flour, and then you rip paper and you just drip it through it and put it on it, let it dry, and then you take little tissue paper, anything, and decorate it, and then give it to somebody and let them beat the hell out of it for Valentine's Day and break it open. Stick notes in there. You're an amazing person. Have some of those little hearts in there, those little heart candies, I love you. Or there are so many amazing fun things to do. I'm getting really excited here.
Yeah, we should post links of some of these ideas beneath this video and this thread. Yeah.
That's a
just
great idea.
Fun, how easy the instructions are, but that would be a great idea.
I might do a video with the stained glass heart things. Show that, because how cool is that? Which I know that a lot of people don't do that stuff very much anymore because it's old school. But how cool is that?
That was so fun.
To bring back the retro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great idea, Vic.
that came to me when we were talking about what we can do, and especially with reaching out. So one of my kids doesn't even live in the United States right now. He lives in Poland, and it would be great, I think, if we took the time to write letters, because, like, who writes a letter? Or even if it is an email to someone you haven't talked to in a long time. Because, again, like, I think the big stigma with Valentine's Day is it has to be about romantic love, and if you do not have that and they don't show you the right way, well, that sounds rude, but I was going to say, you're screwed. You know, it feels like inside you're just all kinds of messed up. And it's just so not true. Valentine's is just a day of love, really just like any other day. But I do think it's cool that we honor that. It's a great reminder to just get out of our typical way that we do things and go, oh, yeah, it's a great day for me to send some love to a friend, a family member, do something special for the kids.
Yeah, there's so many amazing ways. You could pick up your phone, your whatever phone device you have that has video and whatever, and do a little video. Hey, so-and-so, thinking of you, love you, and then send it off in a text. Last year for Valentine's Day, I did a video for a bunch of girlfriends that I knew were single, and I included some married ones too. I believe I sent it to you too, Vic, and it was just sharing with the women. I was feeling so blessed in my life. I was in a beautiful relationship and feeling just so honored in that, and honoring my sisters and just letting them know that I cared about them. And it was the most fun I've had. It felt not risky, but it was stepping outside of that zone in which we talk about, because who does that? Who sends it to a bunch of girlfriends via Facebook because they love you? People just don't do that. I was a little nervous. How are they going to take it? And then I thought, no, because I'm sending it in love. I love them, and I want them to be happy too. I want them to know that they're loved. And of course, that was said in the video. But just something small and simple, and it's wonderful to just reach out. And in fact, the things that don't cost money are so much more remarkable because they come from our heart. They come from a place of creation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to go back to making sure we women are accountable. Let's not end this without some bold. Why do our men feel like there are all these expectations? I would have to guess it's because we have some. In general, maybe you don't, or I don't, or I've worked through it.
But socially, historically, yes.
Yeah, we've got some expectations, and that's why the communication is so important. Also, like we said in the beginning. But also, what if we started our day without an expectation from our partners? For those of us that do have a partner, what if? I know, Mia, that probably kills you because you're a really romantic type person, and if your boyfriend didn't come home with a rose or something, it might be kind of crushing. I'm kind of mushy and romantic that way too, but I've been really working on his love language is just not my love language. He shows me in different ways every single day. He's shoveling the walk. He's cooking for me. He's really, there's a huge list of things that he does for me. And it might not be writing mushy notes or making a heart or, all these things that we feel we deserve. And there just needs to be accountability on our part as women to not have these expectations and to get into a space of service instead.
What you said was, we're shown in other ways, the best way they know how.
Yeah.
And maybe if they say that, well, I'm showing you the best way I know how, you want to just smack them because it's like, damn it, that's not good enough. But no, it's perfect because it is the way it's supposed to be.
Also, and I love that, and it got me thinking that, and I am so guilty of this, that if I tell him, like, I'm not anymore, but I lived in it for years, like if I tell my partner what I want, then suddenly it's meaningless. So if I say, I would love a dozen roses from you on Valentine's, it's like, I hear girls say this all the time. If you have to tell them, then, it doesn't mean so much. They need to do it on their own. And it's like,
sure, yeah.
They're not dogs, though. It's like, where we just have these expectations. They should be jumping all over, us right when we walk in the door. I mean, I don't know. I just think we're really, really hard on men sometimes, including I absolutely have been. And just because I'm clear in communicating, hey, I love roses, pick out whatever color you want, or just saying I love flowers, they still get to choose it, and they still get to be part of that. But, I mean, just the other day, I told my husband just that. Like, hey, I kind of miss getting flowers, and I could buy them for myself, but I do love, I really appreciate when you bring them home to me. And, what he shared was, because he used to bring them home, almost every week, and it's been probably a couple months or something. And he shared, what was going on in his head, and it was super vulnerable, and I won't share it because it's his feeling. But what I learned from it it had nothing to do with not loving me. It was just him in his head of, how do I do it right? What if she doesn't like this? And it was actually quite cute.
That is cute. That is.
And I found that out just because I said, hey, I miss those. I love when you pick out flowers for me. And it just started a whole, a really open conversation. And and we got it all straightened out, and everybody felt great about it.
Right. I think Valentine's, along with anything that we expect, is getting in touch with, and here's a great book, everyone, called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And one of them is not assuming, not expecting. It truly, if you live in the place of, this has been an amazing year for me, because I'm really pulling back on what my paradigm was to what, and not just to fit with a partner, but just to know and to grow. It's been very, very painful, because as a woman, we want this, we want that, it should be this way, it should be that way, my birthday should be here or there, or you should do something special, or whatever it is. But truly, the magnificence is when we're totally surprised. Don't expect anything on any day, And yes, on Christmas, if that's what you celebrate, or the winter solstice, or your birthday, if you're not recognized at all on anything, then, then that's not right. But it shouldn't be discussed till much later, because there could be a reason why, and maybe the partner's too embarrassed to say, I had absolutely no money, and if I didn't do anything, then it would have just disappeared. I had a boyfriend that I totally adored, just adored. It was about 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And it was on my birthday. All my friends were saying, wow, your life's so different. Let's have a big party for your birthday. It was like the first birthday party I ever threw. I was living in my own house for the first time ever by myself, without a husband or a mom or a dad, and planned this huge barbecue. And he had said to me a couple weeks before, so what do you want for your birthday? It's coming up. And I said, all I want is for you to be there and work the barbecue. And he didn't come. And we broke up. On my birthday. At 5, he called when everybody was supposed to arrive, and he just said, I can't do it. I just can't do it. And I said, okay, then I'm going to come with you, and I'm going to hide too. And he said, you can't. You have a house full of people coming. And so I broke, and my friends all pulled together and threw me the best party. I cried the whole night, I cried the whole night. And at 9, he said, I got my issues. And I'm like, you sure do. Yeah. But the thing is that, that it's hard to get away from expecting anything. Yes, that was just a simple request of, all I want is for you to run the barbecue. What should I have said? Bring me a flower? Would he have come? No. It's issues within the person, Yeah. And are we great friends today? Yeah. We never stopped being friends, but it took a long time. It took a whole year before he actually could face me again, even as my friend. So the point is yeah, we've all been through a lot of stuff. Sorry, guys. I just want to get this all off my face so that I can be just all happy and cheery here, because that's truly where I want to be. So anyways, the point is getting rid of the expectations of anything. And I had absolutely no idea that story would come out, or that the tears would flow the way they did. But anyway, so even on Valentine's Day, holidays, birthdays, they're all the same because we have expectations just from life, just from living, just from reading things. Again, the media. You know, the media puts so much, everything's so commercialized.
Yeah. Yeah, commercialization is definitely something that men and women were complaining about on that thread. And, it's up to you if you want to feed into that or not, or do things your way that serves you and your partner, or if you're single, that just serves you. It's up to you how you decide it. Industry is going to be the industry. We're in America and make some good money here, and lots of times over holidays. But that's up to you what you do with that. Totally up to you.
It is, and where your heart is, and where your reality in life is. And I've always been a giver, and I think that especially around the holidays. I remember last year, Vic, 2011, that you did for Thanksgiving, helped supply people with dinners, and I used to do that too. And that's so important to be a participant in anything of giving to someone else. We call it in service, but truly our heart bounces and rejuvenates within our being because we're giving to someone that has less than us, and it's just wonderful to see the joy in people's faces when you do give. So I love the idea you said about creating Valentine's Day for others, your friends. Notes. Go to somebody's office for the day. Pick one or two friends if you have the time. This is just an outrageous thing. This is what I would love to do, and I will not probably be able to do it at all because I'm going to be somewhere on Valentine's, I think, out of the area, traveling again. But I would love to go to a friend's house or office and bring them a homemade cupcake with one of my stained glass hearts. maybe I'll get those mailed out. In fact, I might do a pay it forward for Valentine's.
Good idea.
And granted, this is just a week before, so I better get busy. So we can do whatever we want. So for the next week, anything you do very special for someone, just say Happy Valentine's Day, thinking of you now and always, because it doesn't have to be specifically on that day.
Yeah. And for me on Valentine's, I'm going to focus on my husband. And he loves hand massages and foot massages, and I just don't do them that much. So I think that will be my something that, his love language is touch, and that's different, for like I said, for everybody. So figure out what your friends, your partners, and your kids, what their love language is, and do some giving back. And
it's beautiful.
It just feels so much better to have our day be about that,
right,
rather than ourselves.
Right. What I love to do on birthdays, and you can do this for Valentine's for the one you love too, is, and I only give this way to just a handful of people, but I dedicate whatever time we're together, and they know it, that's specifically just for them. Whether I make them something, we listen to their favorite music, it's all about them and what they love. And if you're with your partner, can you imagine how sexy that would be? Create the night just for them. If you don't want to wait for them to create the Valentine's for you, say, hey, would you be up to just spending a quiet evening at home? And then create something that the other person likes that you know. And like Vic was saying, do a full body massage. Get some, you don't have to get the expensive essential oils. You can even get coconut oil, which is cheap at Trader Joe's or Whole Foods, and it's organic, and it's luscious, and it smells yummy. And drizzle it all over their body and rub them good. Have the sound going to get all the senses in tune, so the touch and the sound, and then feed them something delicious afterwards. It'd just be, wow, I feel like a king. Do you know how amazing it is when your partner says, I feel like $1 million. I feel so amazing. This is beautiful. It's truly remarkable to have that relayed back to you.
Yeah.
Try it.
Yes.
So.
For sure.
So we are running out of time. How would you like to wrap up the ideas for people with self-love?
Yeah, let's jump over through the tips.
Okay, great. So we talked about reversing the fear by calling it, just even naming it, Valentine's Fearless Day, because there's nothing to be afraid of. You had brought up communication being a huge aspect that people are talking about on the feeds with the 50 Lies I Tell Myself about relationships. That's very important. You had said to ask early, what do you think about this? How do you feel? And also relaying your feelings. If you want to have a night with your partner, say, hey, would you be opposed to a relaxing evening? And then create, not anything crazy, so that they walk into Wonderland when they enter the door. You have snow falling from the ceiling and all that. Do something that's a little bit, less. That won't
You've
shock.
You've done that, haven't you, Mia? You've done the snow falling for the skin. I bet you have. You always go big with this stuff.
I do.
Dating you would be fun.
I know, and you know what? It's funny because I actually have always said I date my girlfriends too, in the way that sometimes I'll bring a flower when I haven't seen them in a while, and I pick them up and want to take them out to dinner because they're amazing, just as I'm amazing, and I want them to feel the way that I would want to be treated. So I treat my friends the same way. And if your friends don't reciprocate, not meaning that they pick you up and take you out to dinner, but even if you feel like you're always doing something and somebody's not reciprocal, then move on. I've had to do that with lifelong friends. I don't move on from the relationship. I move on from that nature, because if you want to give it, you give it, and if you don't, you don't, because it truly is where your heart is. So that's with everything. The Galentine, the girls' night out.
Yeah.
The guys going out with guys to a sports bar to watch a game, or you guys can take yourselves out to coffee and read, depending on whatever you are. And your children, make it about them. Embrace them. Do your Valentine's Day on another night when they're not around.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we do, and it's a blast. My kids love it.
Because remember, every 5 years, you only get, for 5 years, it's during the week. And then, then we have the leap year and all that. But, so most of the time, it's not going to be on a weekend anyways.
Right.
So,
get creative.
Yes, exactly.
Out of the box. Step out of the box.
I love it. I think that these are great ideas. Keeping it small, simple, inexpensive. Next week's are ways to make it inexpensive, but we'll just throw some out. We talked about this, of course, I talked about the stained glass window hearts. Next week there's ideas on food and stuff, but here's an idea. My kids loved this, and would I make it for them all the time? No, but their favorite thing was, and it's like party food. Get the small croissant rolls and get hot dogs and cut them to fit and roll them up and have appetizers that are inexpensive if you're on a budget, but still decent enough, and color water if you need to put candles in. You can have real juice instead of, cheap things. And if you're an adult, you can throw in some vodka in that, and have a fun time with your kids, Don't get too tipsy because you always want to be responsible, but that's up to you, Mom and Dad. There are many ways to celebrate.
Yeah.
To celebrate the holidays. And keep watching the feeds and the 50 Lies I Tell Myself. And
50 Shades of Lies.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to limit it to just 50 lies I tell myself.
There's so many.
We want to break through everything.
Right.
All right, wonderful. Thank you. I just got a little sidetracked there.
You're fine.
All right, so thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week. And have a lovely, lovely Valentine's Day, and make it about you and your friends. Is that what you'd say, or what would you like to say?
I would say it's probably been enough about you over the years. Make it about somebody else this year.
That's so sweet.
Well, taking care of yourself, yes.
Yeah.
But the me mentality, that's, of course, what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Taking care of yourself is, I don't do it enough. So I I am all for that.
Right.
But yeah, you know what I mean. Just the me. Why isn't it like this and that? It's just think about what you can do for him or for the kids or for your friends. It's just fun that way.
Exactly.
It should be a fun holiday.
Exactly. All right. Thank you, and we'll see you all next week.
Thanks.
Bye.